5 was known as Miss Rhythm in the 50s. Ruth Brown was one of the most popular rhythm and blues singers in America, with hits that included 5, 10, 15 hours, Teardrops from My Eyes, and Mama, He Treats Your Daughter Mean. She toured with the biggest names in R&B, including Little Richard, Sam Cooke, Ray Charles. Right now, she is hostess of the syndicated radio show Harlem Hit Parade and is appearing off-Broadway in the musical Staggerlee. Before we chat with Ruth Brown, here's a scene from Staggerlee.
Leaving me with nothing but bag of lipstick. Testing my patience for all its elasticity. Then they pull out the plug and they're gone. Yeah, they're gone. It's like the man who wants you because you don't know.
Welcome to Live at 5, Ruth Brown. I must tell our viewers that some people came in on their day off to see you. This is a special day for Live at 5.
Well, thank you so much, Sue. And let me say it's a very special day for me. I'm really appreciative of the fact that I finally got to do Live at 5.
Oh, Ruth.
And I love Staggerlee forever, if no more than for that.
Well, it's our pleasure, believe me. Vernell Bagneris is
Yes.
one of the co-creators with Alan Toussaint, wrote this piece with you in mind. Tell me about the music in the show. Is it all new tunes?
Well, I think not. There are some that have been very recently written specifically for the show, for Mr. Toussaint, but most of the tunes were tunes that dated back into the late 50s and early 60s that were products of Alan Toussaint. And when you speak about Mr. Toussaint, well, the tunes that he's written, there's just so many that you just cannot name them all.
He made an appearance on Letterman recently where he did a whole medley of his tunes, and we were all knocked out by it, you know, because you tend to forget sometimes, you know, who did what. You do a radio show now called Harlem Hit Parade. It's on Sunday nights at midnight on WBGO-FM, and you say part of the reason that you do this show is to make listeners remember the artists of your era, you know, the 40s, the 50s, and 60s, the way they should be remembered.
Yes, yes. I feel quite honored to have had the privilege, because somewhere along the line, the music that I was so much a part of sort of got pushed in the corner, I would say, for whatever the reasons. But there are still a number of people very much alive who were a part of that creation. And I had the opportunity to remind people that all of the music that they're hearing today is not exactly new.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. It may be a few years old, you know, in my time, but it still sounds pretty good. So we deal with R&B, which is rhythm and blues, and that is really the base, is what R&B means too. You build the base strong enough, and then you continue to build upon that. So no matter what you hear today, you know, be it punk rock, hard rock, it all has its basis in R&B. R&B has its basis in gospel. So it all sort of overlaps together.
One of the things that you said was that you respect the people in the country world because they know how to remember their pioneers.
Yes, it's true, they do. Unfortunately, in this profession, there are areas in which it is very necessary to be visibly what the public expects. You know, you can't grow old and still perform well.
And wear them hour-long dresses.
You understand. Well, what you have to do is to decide to accept the fact that there are just some things that you can no longer do. Do what you can do well, if possible, you see. I wouldn't have the nerve to jump up and try to do a Tina Turner, even though I wish I looked like that, you know.
Roberta Flack was here fairly recently, and she was complaining that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame neglected a lot of artists, but women artists in particular. And it reminded me of a story of the last awards in January, and you were there. Tell me what you did that was pushy for Ruth Brown.
Yeah, it was rather pushy for me. Well, I was attending the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, not that I had really been invited to be there, But my ego said to me that I deserved to be there.
Amen.
And so, with the assistance of my legal counsel, Howard Beagle, who has been fighting for a number of years to help me sustain some record royalties, we decided that I should be there. And he made arrangements for me to be present. And after all the presentations were done, all of the vocal groups and males and people who had been honored.
Tell me some of the people who were up on stage.
There was Bo Diddley, there was B.B. King, there was
Berry.
Hank Billard, Chuck Berry, Carl Gardner, and the Coasters.
All these people that you
All
been
of
on
the
the same
people
bill
who
open for you.
had been on my opening shows, some acts that I had taken on the road for the first time, along with, of course, the boss, Bruce Springsteen, at that time. So I just felt when they started to sing Benny King, Stand By Me, that I should be standing beside them also. So I just sort of acted in a pushy manner, and I went to the edge of the stage and I sort of waited to see who was going to give a hand to me. In fact, I got some rather unpleasant looks, but I must say that Bruce Springsteen, even though I had never met him before, gave his hand to me.
Pulled you up, hugged you, and you
Yes, he
sang
did,
on.
and we sang together.
I want to say the time has been too brief. I'm thanking you so much for coming by, and I want to remind the folks that get another look at Ruth Brown and Adam Wade and a whole string of folks.
Yes.
Staggerlee's on at the 2nd Avenue.
2nd Avenue Theater, 2nd Avenue and 12th Street.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Ruth, thank you so much. I want to come down and try and